You ready to do a podcast, Mr. Reitzel?
Let's do it.
All right. So without further ado, let's get Culture Clash started and let's do this thing.
This is the Culture Clash.
Welcome to Culture Clash 188 here on the Fandom Podcast Network. This is Culture Clash live on the YouTube channel. Quick shout out to the chat. I see Brian Kinney is in there. Kevin, I used to work with Brian at a comic shop down here in Florida called the New Time Machine.
I remember Brian from the CCG days, right? CCG days.
Collectible card game.
Yes. How are you, Brian? Good to see you.
Yep. So right here, Culture Clash 188. It's been a couple weeks since we've been gone. I know everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. Kevin, some stuffing, some mashed potatoes, a little turkey for you. What else? A little cranberry?
Not a stuffing guy. No, never have been. Yeah.
It's just un-American, man.
No, there's certain things that I like that other people don't, and vice versa. You know, I like my turkey cut up. You know, I don't like eating off the bone, of course. But I love mashed potatoes and mac and cheese, gravy, of course. But I was never a big stuffing guy, you know.
Are you more of a white meat or a dark meat guy?
More of a white meat, and then you just pour on the gravy and whatever stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't like cranberry sauce. You know, I'm not a big cranberry sauce guy. But you know, I'm a little weird when it comes to certain stuff there. Hey. Stuffing never appealed to me, and just not a stuffing dude.
I gotta have some good stuffing, some sweet potatoes, some mashed potatoes, maybe some green beans. Not green bean casserole though.
Brian doesn't care for stuffing or gravy. So Brian, out of curiosity, let us know what you do like, because everyone's kind of got their own thing. I noticed. You know?
Yes. So,
and it always adds extra stress to whoever is making the and preparing the Thanksgiving dinner, because they're like, okay, we got cousin Mike, he hates this, loves that. We got Aunt Edna, she likes this, hates that.
Exactly. You just eventually just throw it all out there and say, okay, potluck it, start the convoy through the line, everybody go sit down and eat what you want.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we are at Culture Clash 188. Of course, Culture Clash is your home for fandom news, reviews, and whatever crazy Kevin and I can come up with. But you know what? There's a lot of places where you can find Culture Clash, but it all starts, of course, at our homepage at fpnet.podbean.com. Also on your mobile devices, download the Podbean app and search for the Fandom Podcast Network. Of course, the Fandom Podcast Network is on all major podcast catchers, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, so many more. Facebook, you can visit the Fandom Podcast Network homepage where we try to keep you updated on what's going on around the world of fandom. You can email us directly at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. Instagram, Fandom Podcast Network. Twitter, @FanPod Network. I see that Jen has joined us as well in the chat.
Yeah, no in-laws for her this year. She's like, screw it. Nope.
Okay.
We're just doing us.
and Brian brought up, of course, pumpkin pie. I know you got to have some pumpkin pie, Kevin.
Oh yeah. I like pumpkin pie. Put some whipped cream on there too. Yeah, because usually I like the crust is important to me. I'm kind of curious about the crust. So yeah, the pumpkin pie is good.
Yep. Of course, to finding myself on Twitter, you can find me with all the stuffing at @KyleW on Twitter or on Instagram @KyleFandom. Kevin, where can people find you and your mashed potatoes?
Gosh, yeah. I'm thinking about the ones from Trader Joe's that I like to make. So good. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Spartan_Phoenix.
Yep. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you know we have the Fandom Podcast Network channel on YouTube. We also have Wombats. So
that's for Jan. That's for Jan. I still haven't named him yet.
So if obviously you're aware, but tell your friends, have them come subscribe, give us a few likes. That way they can also be notified whenever we go live on YouTube. There are a couple great ways to support the Fandom Podcast Network as well. It starts at TeePublic, home of our Fandom Podcast Network store, tpublic.com. Search for Fandom Podcast Network. All kinds of holiday sales going on right now. $13 tees, 30% off. All kinds of good stuff there. You can get mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. It's getting a little colder this time of year. You got some pillows. You can get a tapestry. I can even get cell phone cases and laptop cases and stickers even, Kevin.
It's true. Yeah, got a lot of options. It's nice.
Yeah. So
they've been having a lot of sales for TeePublic as well. So make sure you check that out. So yeah.
I'll do like Jen's response. It's the turkey sandwiches the next day.
Yes, and the next week.
Yeah. Of course, too, the other great way to sponsor us, besides sending us Thanksgiving food, we always welcome Thanksgiving food, but Apple Podcasts, iTunes reviews, we love those. Helps us stand out a little bit more on iTunes as well. Search for Fandom Podcast Network. We love those 5-star reviews, of course, but we love the feedback in general because, as always, we want to make podcasts to feed your ears. So your ears will be full and your stomachs will be full on Thanksgiving. So, hey, Kevin, you are actually getting ready to take a trip for Thanksgiving, aren't you?
That's right. So for those of you that don't know, my stepdaughter Camille still lives in Georgia with her grandmother. She's going to school there. And so she's also close to that side of the family. And I moved back out west to be with my dad and eventually settle down here with my future fiance or my future wife, my fiance, Erin Gill. So I'm excited to say I'm actually going back to Georgia for Thanksgiving weekend, spend time with Camille. And also going to be doing some fun sportsy stuff too, as well. I'm going to go actually watch the Raiders play in Atlanta against the Falcons. Be doing that. Be meeting up, of course, with my fellow Atlanta Raider Booster Club and all the several others that will be meeting up for that weekend. But also I'll be checking in on some of our my friends in the fellow 501st and G.I. Joe Finest and just enjoying a nice week there. So I'll be gone Tuesday to Tuesday through the Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, baby driver Alex Ostrey posted something about some grape soda at Rocket Fizz.
Possibly. We'll see. That's a place I want to take Camille, actually. I want to take her to that place because she would love it, especially with all the cool candy that's there. So, yeah.
Yeah. But also coming up, we're getting ready for Ready Player 2, as Kevin's Gunter shirt will say. But, Kevin, I got to ask you, we've had this conversation. Have you found a way so you can listen to Ready Player 2 on the actual day it comes out?
Probably not. I'll look at the Audible thing. We'll see. But I've already purchased it on CD, which is like around close to $50, and I'm not going to get it delivered to me until like December 8th is what Amazon is saying right now. So I don't know. I don't want to buy it twice if I don't have to, but I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see if I can actually maybe get it digitally somehow, but I'd have to pay for it again. So we'll see. But either way, I don't want to rush myself through listening to it, because obviously listening to it, you have to be on the time of Will Wheaton reading in my ears or whatever speaker I decide to play it through, as opposed to reading the book itself, because I don't read books anymore. So,
yeah, well, I do have the Audible pre-order in, so I should have that the day it comes out. I'll probably be on my
is that coming to iTunes? How are you going to play that? Through what device and what app?
I will probably play it through the Audible app on my iPhone and listen to it that way, or whether it's plugged into my car or through headphones.
Yeah, because I don't want to subscribe to Audible, because I don't get a bunch of new audiobooks all the time. And I know sometimes if you do it, the first one's free, but I don't want to subscribe to it because I don't need that service right now.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about Audible is this: they have a plan that's like quarterly $14.99. They give you 1 credit per your monthly so every quarter, so that 1 credit equals 1 book.
So wait, 4 times a year you pay $14.99.
Yeah, but you give it. You also get a credit for a book every quarter. So.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you're buying 4 books a year from them for $14.99, and really most Audible books run about $25. So it's not a bad deal. And even if you quit Audible, you keep the books you've already purchased. So
that's cool. That's cool.
So it's a great way to go for that. But yeah, I know we're very excited for Ready Player 2. I'm curious to see. We've gotten a little bit of information, but it's been fairly quiet on the information for Ready Player 2.
Yeah, it depends where you're looking. I mean, it's kind of interesting because, there was when they first kind of released a vague synopsis for it, it mentioned a few things, and then Books A Million, which has been one of like the big sponsors that Ernest Cline has been working with to help promote this book and do readings or whatever it is. They took that off and then added kind of a newer updated one that now that we all know. So it's interesting because a lot of people are speculating right now. And I want to give a shout out to Chris Cantley, who is the co-host of Get to the Good Part, which is we spoke with Chris a while ago when Ready Player One was really becoming a big thing and the movie was getting ready to come out. And Chris does this really cool podcast with his co-host where they would cover a chapter at a time and then discuss it. And then once they finished the book, they went back and covered on certain topics in a more bigger discussion on them. A lot of the pop culture stuff that they covered in Ready Player One, and he's really excited. And they had a guest on recently on Get to the Good Part of this guy. I'm forgetting his name, but I don't know if it's Jesse or someone else, but he is he runs the unofficial or the official Ready Player One Gunter clan of Facebook. And this now has around 3,700 members right now, but he talks about how when he first started the Facebook group, it was just like him and like less than 10 other people. And then it got to like 30 people. But then when there was an announcement that there was going to be a movie about it, people started getting really excited about this. And then more people came on into this Facebook group. And now it's become one of the more popular Facebook groups. So if you're a fan of Ready Player One and you're really excited, that's why I'm wearing my Gunter t-shirt right now. Check out the official Ready Player One Gunter clan of Facebook page. They actually did like a live reading of the original book, and there's a lot of fun stuff on there. There's already a official spoiler thread for Ready Player 2 up right now, so they're getting ready to do that. And also check out Get to the Good Part podcast as well. But Kyle, I got to ask you, you'll probably finish the book before I do, so don't say anything till I'm done.
Yeah, I'm on like 4th listen before you even listen to it one time.
That's fine. That's fine. I get to listen to Will Wheaton reading the book, But I wanted to ask you though, are you going to like read it and then until I'm done listening to it, you going to read it again, or what are you going to do?
Well, right now I'm definitely going to listen to it as soon as I get it. I mean, that's obvious. And then it's going to be kind of like, I'm assuming I'm going to listen to it at least a couple of times before you get to it for the first time, because that's a few weeks in between there. And I know we're going to talk about it.
It's not a few weeks. It's a week.
Wait a minute. It comes out, what, November 24th, and you get yours the 8th?
Yeah.
About a week and a half.
Okay, not a few weeks.
Anyway, I'll still have it probably listened to a couple of times, I would think, by the time you were through your first listen.
I'll look at other audio options till I get my CD, but I'm definitely ordering the CD. I just like having the physical CDs, popping them in the car and stuff.
Yeah, you and your physical media.
But, there's been a lot of discussion on, does it start off like right after the last book? I mean, it's going to be interesting.
I don't think so. I think
it will. I think it will.
There might be a first chapter, and then it's going to have a time jump. I think like maybe a year ahead.
There's supposed to be some new evil threat or something new that Halliday maybe had in the system, like a new quest that pops up or something. But think about all of the Gunter clans that got decimated from the Cataclysm bomb.
Oh yeah.
So there's all of these like really good Gunters that now have to start from square one. And so it's going to be really interesting to see if someone, whether it was IOI having a bunch of good players like off in reserve in the other sectors. And so there's all of that to think about. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But Kevin, too, you have been doing a MCU rewatch again.
Yes. Earlier this year, I did the chronological order. Never done that before. A lot of fun to kind of go that way. But I decided to do the theatrical release order because there's a certain nostalgia to that. We've talked about that. I've also ordered my Agent Carter Blu-rays, season 1 and season 2. I never watched them all the way through. I did watch like the first couple episodes of season 1, and then I kind of lost track of it. And I'm like, I wanted to get back into it. So I'll go back and watch that later. But I finished phase 1, which is Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and of course the Avengers. Now I'm in phase 2. I watched Iron Man, Thor, The Dark World, Captain America, Winter Soldier. I just finished getting ready to go into Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man, which will go out of phase 2. And you had brought to my attention, and I was already actually listening to the Binge Mode podcast, which is doing a full MCU binge mode series, and they're covering each film, and they're doing it in the theatrical release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's been really interesting. Binge Mode, which is part of the Ringer Network, they've been doing a fantastic job with what they've been doing, covering Binge Mode. They're having a lot of fun. They've also done Binge Mode Game of Thrones, Binge Mode Harry Potter. I think they're going to do
Star Wars. I think
Star Wars too.
And they really get into the MCU minutia, which is really cool. And they refer to the comics, so they kind of fill in all this stuff that the creators and the creative minds of the MCU have been paying wonderful tribute to, because they're paying tribute to the source material, and they're doing it really, really well. I wish all people did that with certain fantasy stuff and sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. Come on, you just listen for Jason Concepcion's impressions.
He's very good. Yeah. Mallory Rubin and Jason Concepcion. Great. They're awesome on there. Make sure you check that out if you do a rewatch. And Brian Kinney says, Agent Carter. Yes, and I would like to say the same thing.
Haley Atwell.
She's so cute.
Well, Kevin, it's been a couple weeks.
It has been.
You have your groove? Are you feeling your groove?
Let's news.
Let's news.
Well, let's open up things with some MCU Disney Plus style, because one of the series I'm most excited for that has that Disney Plus and the MCU have promised is Moon Knight. Now, a few weeks ago,
who's more excited than you, though?
That would be our good friend Cat Cedar.
Yes, he actually has a Moon Knight costume. He's cosplayed as the classic comic book version in the white outfit.
Yeah. Well, Moon Knight is officially coming. It's going to be an MCU Disney Plus show, and it has been announced it looks to start filming in early 2021 in Budapest after star lead Oscar Isaacs finishes filming on his HBO series Scenes from a Marriage. The site it's also reported that Gregory Middleton, Watchmen who was contributed to Watchmen and Game of Thrones, will serve as cinematographer on the show, with Stephanie Celia of the Morbius film on board as production designer. Egyptian filmmaker Mohammed Daib is directing all episodes of the series, which is being written and developed by Jeremy Slater, who also wrote The Umbrella Academy.
It looks like it's 6 episodes according to IMDb.
Yeah, IMDb is looking at 6 episodes right now. Oscar Isaac is reportedly set to play the title role of Moon Knight, aka Mark Spector, in the series. Spector is a former mercenary who becomes the mortal agent of the Egyptian god Khonshu after being left for dead on a mission in Egypt. He suffers from dissociative identity disorder with several alternate personalities. I am incredibly excited for this series. I've always loved the look of the Moon Knight character, and it's because of the identity disorder. It's one of the more intriguing heroes in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, Kat spoke to me about that, and it seemed very, very cool. And Oscar Isaac seems like a good choice for this. I'm very curious to see how they're going to approach that, because I know nothing about it only from what you and Kat has told me about. What's interesting though, if you go on IMDb and look up Moon Knight, the TV series, the only thing they're showing is a logo and then a video for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker trailer.
Yeah, go figure. But speaking of comic book related movies, one that has been rumored now for a while, and it's getting stronger and stronger rumors, is a sequel to the Keanu Reeves movie Constantine. And Peter Stormare, who actually played Lucifer in the original Constantine film, says a sequel is definitely in the works. There's been other talk of this. Keanu Reeves said he would be on board to do it. I'm all for this. I actually think the first Constantine film is a little bit underrated, Kevin.
I think so too. It's been a while since I have viewed it. I would like to give it a watch again. It's been quite a while. I remember when I first saw it, I kind of thought it was because I saw it in the theater, and then I never really kind of wanted to go back to it until I revisited it on video. Maybe it was like on an HBO weekend or something. I can't remember. You know, when before I had HBO, I had those free weekends, and I may have watched it. And I go, you know, this is all right. And then I ended up getting it on video, I believe, like on DVD.
Yeah. So I would be curious to see. I kind of hope this happens. Keanu's got a pretty full slate though with Matrix movies and John Wick. So we'll see what's going to happen.
So he would do Constantine 2, Matrix 4, and then John Wick 4 and 5.
Yeah. So very interesting. Keanu's a popular man. We'll see how much. Mm-hmm. I mean, he might be 60 by the time this is all said and done.
This is true, but you know what? He ages well.
Yeah, he does. Keanu ages like he
doesn't. Wine. You know what? You know why he ages well, don't you?
Why is that?
Because his characters know how to shoot people in the face, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, you know, always go for the double tap. Interesting piece of news. Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther 2. Marvel Studios EVP Victoria Alonso spoke with the Argentinian outlet Clarion, talking about the fact that Marvel has no intention of using any digital images of Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther 2, like what had happened with Peter Cushing in Rogue One and Carrie Fisher as well. She said, quote, "Our king unfortunately has died in real life, not just in fiction. And we are taking a little time to see how we return to history and what we do to honor this chapter of what has happened to us, which was so unexpected, so painful, so terrible, really. Because Chadwick was not only a wonder of a human being every day for the 5 years we spent together, but it also seemed to me that as a character, what he did elevated us as a company and has left his moment in history. I know that sometimes 2 months go by or 3 months go by in production. You say, well, it was a long time, but it's not a long time. We have to think carefully about what we're going to do and what we're going to do and think about how we're going to honor the franchise. The film is expected to begin production next year. One of the interesting things that kind of came out of this, though, was no recasting of Black Panther. Now, this could change, obviously, but it makes you wonder what they've got planned for Black Panther 2.
Yes. No, they haven't said they're not going to recast. Let me put it this way. I don't think they're going to recast T'Challa.
No, I don't
think they're going to bring in someone else to play a character that's going to take on the Black Panther mantle. Okay. Whether it's someone we've already seen or whether it's someone new, I throw my hand out for was it Washington from
James
Tenet?
David Washington? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I could even, as much as fans are going to say it's hearsay, if you're going to recast T'Challa, he would be my choice.
Yeah, but I say don't recast T'Challa. I say, unfortunately, write off his death or write him off somewhere else. You know, I don't know the best way to handle T'Challa's character if he's not going to be in the film. Do you say that he passed away in some other MCU not seen struggle or something? Or do you write him off saying that he's decided to step away from this whole struggle, you know? So I don't know, but I don't, either way, there is going to be someone else that's going to come into this picture, whether, you know, someone that will be cast, I'm sure. So.
I'm just looking at the chat, the fact that I'm getting criticized for not dancing.
Yeah, what is up with that? We have no some rhythm. Very catchy music here on the Fandom Podcast Network, Kyle. I need to see at least a little bit of this.
Okay? I just
maybe
have
some
no rhythm.
thumbs, you know.
I have no rhythm. I'm sorry. You know, I'm Alaskan. We're frozen.
You saying Alaskans don't have rhythm and don't dance?
Pretty much, yeah. Are
you saying that your moose have more rhythm than you do?
Absolutely. If you saw on Facebook, our moose do get police escorts as well. Another interesting piece of news: the Suicide Squad. James Gunn's bringing in all his friends. He's cast Sly Stallone to have a cameo in it.
Of course he is. Okay, wait, hold on. Back up. Suicide Squad, the one that he is kind of just finished, or is this a sequel to the one that he's doing? I'm confused.
No, this is the one that just finished, that he's still finishing up here.
Which means that if there's a sequel to this Suicide Squad, they might bring him back to do whatever then, maybe. Is that?
It's possible. I mean, we already know there's going to be a spin-off show with the character of the Peacemaker, which is played by John Cena.
I just really think that they missed an opportunity in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 of not having Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell share a scene together, you know, so that they could maybe do the tango, you know, and throw some cash around.
Mm-hmm. I knew it was coming. Okay, Kevin, let's move along here because
that was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very bad. Move along. Stay on target. The last thing we talked a little bit on the most recent edition of the Fandom Show, which you can find here right now on the YouTube channel, which we just recorded.
Sorry.
Movies, they keep getting moved. Wonder Woman 84, the last movie that's on the 2020 docket, still officially set for Christmas Day, but COVID is spiking. Warner Brothers is talking about moving it either to summer of 2021 or a sooner release on HBO Max, which is Warner Brothers streaming service. Kevin, 2021 is either going to be the most packed movie year of all time.
No. A lot of stuff that was supposed to come out in 2021 will also be delayed. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be personally, I don't think COVID's going away, but if we do get more things in theater, it's not going to be a packed thing, dude.
Yeah.
We're going to be lucky to get stuff in theaters in 2021, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, on a good news side, we've got 2 possible vaccines out there that are getting closer. So fingers crossed there, but
I'm sorry. Hold the press.
Are you calling Zach Morris?
Yes. Brian Kinney has yet to see Tango and Cash. Dude, one of the best buddy cop films of all time that deserved a sequel, and it did not get it. I'm done.
Yet. We could still have a sequel.
This is true, yes. Go see it, Brian. Trust me, you'll have fun.
You know, if worst case, you could always have Stallone's guest in a Fast and Furious.
Okay, Brian, look at me right now. Look at me.
Don't do it, Brian. Don't do it.
Terry Hatcher in sexy outfits. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Do it. There you go. All right.
One other piece of quick news too that we didn't get to talk about on the Fandom Show. Something I'm very excited about for Kevin. I know you haven't really been able to get into.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt. I need to go back to Wonder Woman.
Okay.
So they're looking at the possibility, not of just delaying it, but going to HBO Max as well, or first.
Possibly even first.
I think I've made my decision to subscribe to HBO Max.
You already have a subscription. You have a HBO.
Here's the thing:
company.
we have HBO, and a bunch of other stuff, but it's limited right now when we set up the internet. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how long we're going to keep it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's worth the $14.99 because there's all kinds of great original series on there. They got the whole Studio Ghibli collection, which is, I think, something Camille would absolutely love.
I just want to say, throw it out on video on demand, $30. I'll even go 40 for my Wonder Woman. I'll do it.
Okay, as I was getting to something I'm very excited about. I know, Kevin, you haven't really got into it yet, but it is official. Netflix has renewed Umbrella Academy for a third season. I am extremely happy about this. I absolutely love the Umbrella Academy. One of the best surprises Netflix has done in the last couple of years.
There's good buzz about that show. I'll probably have to check it out eventually.
Yeah, the second season I think was superior to the first, but I love the first season as well. Ellen Page is phenomenal in it, but the entire cast is just amazing. So if you haven't checked out Umbrella Academy, go check out Umbrella Academy. But with that, we're going to take a quick break here. Let you know what else is going on around the Fandom Podcast Network.
Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying this podcast. We like to continue to feed your ears by inviting you to listen to the Fandom Podcast Network and all of the other awesome shows we have to offer. It starts with our flagship show, Culture Clash, our weekly pop culture news podcast. Bloody Kings, our Highlander podcast. Couch Potato Theater, our podcast celebrating our favorite movies. Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback podcast discussing a year in movies and our favorite pop culture topics. End Zone, the NFL podcast. Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast. Union Federation, our Star Trek and Orville podcast. Hair Metal, the 80s and early 90s rock metal podcast. Type 40, our Doctor Who podcast. Lethal Mullet, a 1980s and 90s action film podcast. What a Piece of Junk, a Star Wars podcast. And our newest show, Making Treks, a new Star Trek podcast with a deep dive into the final frontier with host Mark Newbold and Adam P. O'Brien. You can enjoy all of these great Fandom Podcast Network shows on our master feed at fpnet.podbean.com. Fandom Podcast Network is also on Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You can also find us on Facebook under Fandom Podcast Network. You can also email us at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter under Fandom Podcast Network. Thank you for listening, and remember, respect others and enjoy your fandom.
And as always, we hope you're enjoying everything we're doing on the Fandom Podcast Network, and hopefully giving you a break in your day, giving you something a little bit to take the worries away, feed your ears, have some fun. That's what we're trying to do. As always, we love doing it for you, and we love the fact you guys are listening. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody who's watching. We love you guys. But with that, Kevin, we have seen a few things. So it's time once again for some buy it, stream it, or unsee it. And before we do anything, that sound right there means spoiler alerts are coming.
Yes. Now, we should also tease we're going to be talking some Mandalorian at the end of the show, which also includes spoilers.
Yep, we will get to that. But first of all, let's talk about some things that we've been watching lately. Obviously, the whole schedule screwed up. We should be watching brand new TV shows right now. COVID's got everything all screwed up. I know come first of the year, we're going to at least get some conclusions of series that didn't get to finish properly. So I've been using that time to play a little TV roulette with my apps, whether it's Hulu, CBS All Access, Netflix. There's so many things out there. But something I've been wanting to check out for a while is the Fox show Prodigal Son. And the reason why I wanted to check this out is the cast of this show, Kevin. Because not only do you have Tom Paine, who many of you will be familiar with if you're a Walking Dead fans, who played Jesus in on The Walking Dead, you also have Michael Sheen, the wonderful, talented Michael Sheen, obviously from Underworld fame, also Good Omens with David Tennant, wonderful actor. In this show, Prodigal Son, Michael Sheen is a serial killer named The Surgeon who has been caught and imprisoned. His son, played by Thomas Paine, is a He's a high level profiler. He actually gets fired from the FBI in the first episode, and has now gone to work with his good friend Gil Arroyos, played by Lou Diamond Phillips, on his New York City major crimes unit, helping him.
Lou Diamond back in the nice.
But Kevin, for you, the selling point is the actress who is playing Malcolm, the main character, Malcolm Bright, as he calls himself, or Malcolm Widley, because that was his birth name. Halston Sage from Orville fame. This is the show she left the Orville to go do. And I think it might have been a good career move for her as far as screen time goes.
But possibly, yeah. But that's okay. That's all right. Her spot got filled perfectly.
Yes, I'm not complaining about that either. But this show is very intense. If you like a police procedural that really makes you think and has some smartness to it, this is a wonderful show. It's worth it just for the back and forth dialogue between Tom Payne, who plays, again, Malcolm Bright, and Michael Sheen, who plays his father, the surgeon, as his serial name killer goes. The back and forth dialogue between them is great. But what is very interesting is the relationships he has with his mother, Lou Diamond Phillips, and his sister, who's again played by Halston Sage, because his sister was only 5 when the surgeon was caught. So she doesn't really have this. She has a different view of her father than her brother and her mother have.
What kind of stuff was he doing to kill people?
Well, he was a little bit all over the place, but he was actually a medical doctor. So that's why the name is surgeon. So he would be paralyzing them and then doing different things to explore their bodies to see how long they could survive certain things. And
nice.
Like that. But his son uses him to help consult on cases too. And he's still like held in this high regard in the medical industry. And even though he's in this psychological prison, they've got doctors who will come on video and ask him for consultations. But I mean, Michael Sheen is just phenomenal in this. I can't rave about him enough. Tom Payne, who I am become a huge fan of on Walking Dead, and even better in this show. And Lou Diamond Phillips and the team they have for Major Crimes works really well. And like I said, Halston Sage, as the season goes along, you start to see certain things. And when the season finale hits, you're like, no, you cannot leave this as my season finale. So
gotcha.
It's definitely a stream it. I would call it a buy it for me. I absolutely love this show. But one other thing I've been checking out too, Kevin, is on CBS All Access. This is a documentary film exclusive to CBS All Access called Console Wars, which is actually based off of a book of the same name, which goes into detail about the console war between Nintendo of America and Sega. And I know we've had a few other documentaries kind of cover this a little bit, but this goes more in depth than anything I've ever seen, and just how Sega actually toppled Nintendo for a while.
Really?
In the console war. Sega actually with Sonic became
was that like in 1995 only?
No, it's quite surprising how they pushed themselves ahead of Nintendo and actually won that generation console war.
Oh, okay. So
it's very interesting. It's on CBS All Access. Give it a check out. It's got some great retro features from like that late 80s, early 90s feel when Genesis was at its peak. So now, Kevin, you put something up here too that I know is an Apple TV series.
I think it is now, but it premiered on, what is it premiered on? Gosh, I can't remember. But the show that I'm speaking of is called Riviera. And the reason why I discovered this is because, well, remember when we were doing Couch Potato Theater and we decided to cover 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes.
Well, it brought the question because you know how we have Julia Stiles as one of the stars of that movie?
Yeah, I've always been a big Julia Stiles fan.
She's just wonderful in that. I love her dearly. I love the roles that she's done, and I loved her in the Bourne series.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
However, I kind of disregard the last Bourne series or the last Bourne movie because they killed her off.
Yeah,
and I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. You did not have to kill her off. I thought that was a stupid thing. That's why I'm mad at that movie. To me right now, it's just the trilogy right now. And anyway. I was curious, like, what has she been up to? And so I looked her up. She's been in this show called Riviera, and I'm like, okay, curious. I'm wondering about that. And then I was on my Amazon Fire Stick, and I decided to do a search for Riviera, and it brought up the TV series. I want to say it was either I got it on IMDb for free or something. But it's funny when you're on the Fire Stick and you search something and it starts playing in one of the apps that you have, you sometimes forget what app it's playing on. Have you ever done that?
Exactly. Apple TV is the same way.
So I wish I could tell you right now what I was watching it on. I don't remember but I started marathoning it and I got like 3 episodes in, and it's very cool drama. I'm really digging this. One of the things I love about it is that, well, let me read the synopsis real quick. After a newlywed Georgina, that's her name, billionaire husband Constantine is killed in a yacht explosion off the coast of France, I think Nice. She is shocked to discover the fortune and lifestyle he maintained was surrounded by violence, lies, secrets, and murder. She soon steps out of her comfort zone to protect the family and herself. So she is somewhat, just recently married to this guy, and she met him through the art world. She's like an art dealer and stuff, that thing. And he's an art connoisseur, and she would go buy stuff that he really would, like really expensive art. Like we're talking 10 million, 20 million type of art. Right. And so you see him die in this explosion, and she starts to figure out what happens. And Lena Olin plays the ex-wife and the mother of the kids that are there. And Iwan Rowan.
Okay.
Does that name sound familiar? Maybe it's Ewan.
Gosh, the name rings a bell.
He was in Game of Thrones. He played a guy that likes to cut certain parts off people's bodies.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now I know exactly who you're talking about.
Ramsey, the guy that played Ramsey, also played Nikki Sixx in the Motley Crue Dirt film. He plays the son of this, and so they live in this beautiful house near the French Riviera. It's all filmed on location. They're all troubled people, and she starts realizing that what's going on? Why does he have this secret apartment here? And what's going on? And the cops are interviewing her, and stuff starts to get really intense. And I'm like 3 episodes in, and I'm enjoying it. It's called Riviera, and it's good to see her back. She's awesome in it.
Yeah, well, there's a couple other people that grab my attention in his listing for the cast too. First is always been a favorite of mine, Anthony LaPaglia.
Yes.
I've always been a fan of his. I loved him in Empire Records.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, Poppy Delitzsch. And you do realize who she's related to.
Poppy who? I'm sorry. You keep missing up this person's last name.
Well, a different person, but yeah.
How is it Delitzsch? There's no T,
Vinge.
There's no C,
Vinge.
There's no A, there's no H in that name.
Delitzsch.
Is it the other Deleving or Deleving?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that the girl from
Suicide Squad and
yes.
Valerian and things like that?
Yeah, but anyway, it's really cool. It's all shot on location. Great production value. Started in 2017. I believe they are 3 seasons in right now.
Very cool. One last thing that I watched actually came up again on the Fandom Show, which we recorded this past Saturday, and is on the video is on the YouTube channel with our good friend Jonathan Melville, who was our guest in the 4th chair there. Of course, myself, and of course the host of our great Doctor Who show Type 40, Dan Halley, are on that show. And Jonathan Melville talked about a documentary he had just watched on Netflix called The Speed Cubers. And it focuses on 2 of the fastest Rubik's Cube solvers in the world, and at the Rubik's Cube Solving World Championships. But the 2 people it focuses on are Felix, not Felix, like with an X, like Fix It Felix. This is Feliks Zemdegs, who's from Australia. He could solve a Rubik's Cube in under 7 seconds. Which is just
7 seconds.
Under 7 seconds.
Okay, give me that. Okay. All right. Let me give him this Rubik Cube after I mess it up for about an hour. Okay.
This one I'll probably solve it in about 7 to 8 seconds.
Yes. I suck at Rubik's Cube. The last time I figured out how to do a Rubik's Cube, I took it apart and put it back together.
So here's the interesting thing. Throughout this documentary, the other person it focuses on is another cuber called by the name of Max Park. Now, the interesting thing about Max Park is he's autistic. And him and Felix has apparently been this celebrity in Australia for the Rubik's Cube thing for a long time. He's about 4 years older than Max Park. And Max Park looks up to Felix. However, the biggest thing of notoriety in the cubing world, because they show them doing like Rubik's Cubes that are like 10 and 11 rows. It's ridiculous. But is the 3x3, the basic Rubik's Cube, and who can do that the fastest. For the last 10 plus years in the Guinness Book of World Records, one of two men have held the world record, either Felix Zemdigs or Max Park.
It's kind of like there's been like two guys on the Nathan hot dog eating championship for over the last 20 years, you know?
Yeah. And it's an average of solving 3 Rubik's Cubes. They take the time average of that to get to the world championship and the world record.
I noticed it's only 40 minutes, and which means it's an easy watch. But where did you watch this?
Netflix.
Okay. Netflix.
It is definitely a stream it, especially if you lived in the time when the Rubik's Cube was just the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's very heartwarming. It's a feel-good story. You're rooting for both of these guys by the time the documentary is over. And to see the genuine friendship that they have between each other is amazing. It's a fun, feel-good 40-minute watch. Take the time, watch it. It's definitely a stream it. The Speed Cubers.
Shout out to Jonathan Melville again. We had him on because he has his brand new Highlander book based on a book that he wrote about the making of the original 1986 Highlander film. But we also had him on recently to record a couch potato theater for the movie Tremors, which will be coming out soon. The Couch Potato Theater podcast with him, because Tremors is celebrating its 30th anniversary, but also they're re-releasing a special anniversary edition on Blu-ray 4K, and there is an audio commentary track with him on it. And the reason why Jonathan did an audio audio commentary on the new Tremors Blu-ray that's coming out is because he wrote a book about Tremors that came out in 2015. And he interviewed all of the cast members of Tremors, specifically from the main series, main movie, and several more as well. So make sure you check that out and check out his books.
Well, speaking of Couch Potato Theater, you have your own personal version of Couch Potato Theater, Kevin.
I do. I've got Thrift Store Theater.
So explain to the people watching and the people listening what exactly Kevin's Thrift Store Theater is.
I love to visit thrift stores, Kyle, secondhand stores, and I love visiting the video section of these stores because sometimes you find some real steals, and you can find them anywhere from $1 to $2. Blu-rays can cost anywhere from $2 to $4, which is nice. And you find some stuff you can't find anywhere else. That's either out of print and stuff like that. And so for those cheap prices, I like to consider it a thrift store rental, because I will decide when I watch it if I'm going to keep it, and it's going in this awesome physical media library right behind me here, or if I'm going to kind of hang on to it, kind of let it marinate for a while and decide later whether I want to rewatch it again, or if I'm going to donate it right back to the thrift store, thus calling it a thrift store rental. And I got a couple of movies that I did just that.
Yeah, I have strong thoughts on these two films, Kevin.
Okay. What's funny about these two films is they're related in a certain way. I'm sure you could go, Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees and find other ways to relate these two films together. But there's a specific reason I want to bring up of why these two are related. And the first one I want to speak of is The Devil's Rejects. Okay. The 2-disc director's cut, by the way. 2 thumbs up, by the way, by Ebert and Roper. Stop face palming me on live YouTube. Stop it, Kyle. All right. Now, I saw this originally when it first came out or soon after. I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. But then, as I go through conventions and I met Mr. Spalding himself, Sid Haig and stuff like that. I'm kind of curious, and I think I met Sherry Moon as well, who's married to the director, of course, by Rob Zombie from White Zombie, but now he's a filmmaker. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to see this again. So I bought it for $1 and I watched it. The other film that I got was Airheads. Okay. Starring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler. Now, I saw this originally, Airheads, when it came out in the theater in 1994. I enjoyed it. I never went back and revisited it. I never rented it again. I never watched it again. I think it might have come on a television or something. I saw parts of it, but I had the urge to buy it, probably for $1 or $2, and really kind of go back and watch it because I miss seeing Brendan Fraser, to be honest with you. I miss Brendan Fraser. I recently watched Encino Man for the first time. Loved it. Kyle?
I was just going to say, get your Brendan Fraser fix, the Doom Patrol on HBO Max.
Doom Patrol?
Yeah, very, very good series. Based off of
DOOM?
Yeah. Okay. Based off of a DC Comics. Timothy Dalton is also in that series.
What is this? When, new, old, what?
The season 2 just came out. It's based off of a DC comic called the Doom Patrol. It's a very oddball, but it's a lot of fun. Brendan Fraser is great in it. And I got to give Brendan Fraser credit. If you've seen some recent pictures of Brendan Fraser, he's losing weight, getting back in shape, looking more like the Brendan Fraser.
So it's a new TV series that Brendan Fraser's starring in.
You're right. All exclusive to HBO Max.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So I was kind of curious about that, and it came out in 94. A couple of notes on, let me go to Devil's Reject first. So this movie's very violent.
You think?
But what's so funny is like, it's based around these serial killer people, cult type people, but in a strange way, you kind of find yourself rooting for them, which is really weird. But I really enjoyed watching this again. And there is a ton of bonus special features on this, including disc 2, which is 30 Days in Hell, the making of Devil's Reject. But I actually really enjoyed this. William Forsythe is in this film. I love William Forsythe. He plays the sheriff that will go through anything to get to these guys. And I enjoyed the music. And I remember seeing A House of a Thousand Corpses, I think it was too. But I got to revisit that too because I don't remember it that well.
Because I'm trying to remember if Devil's Reject spun out of House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes. Okay. Came out after that. Yes. So I've decided for Devil's Rejects, I'm going to keep it. I like it. So I'm going to keep it.
Okay. Can I weigh in real quick there?
Yes.
The only good movie Rob Zombie's directed is his Halloween remake.
I have not seen it. Have I seen it? Wait a minute. No, I have not seen it.
So that is actually very good. Not a fan of Rob Zombie. He gets a little too out there for my tastes.
He's got a really certain niche. Yeah. I would like to see him kind of branch out and kind of do something, not so horror splattery type stuff, but we'll see. Airheads, thoroughly loved it.
Yep.
I forgot how fun this was. It's a great moment in time in the 90s. Do you want to know what these two have in common? Devil's Rejects and Airheads that I was referring to?
Real quick, just want to shout out quick hi to Nathaniel in the chat.
Yes. What's up, Nathaniel? Did he say anything?
No, I just saw he just jumped in. So
Okay. To the chat. What do these two movies have in common?
I have no
Kyle?
idea.
Anything?
Idea.
This movie, Devil's Rejects, directed by Rob Zombie. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in this film that is at the Whiskey A Go-Go that Chris Farley has to go find Brendan Fraser's girlfriend. Guess what band is playing on stage at the Whiskey?
Rob Zombie's band.
White Zombie. Yeah. There's a great cameo of Lemmy in this Airheads movie, by the way. It's very funny when they're like, this is when Brendan Fraser says, I'm a nerd, my name is Chester or whatever it was. And he says, I used to be like, I used to be on the, what was it? Writing
chess team or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was very funny. Also, too, when people are calling into the radio station, Beavis and Butthead call in.
I know, that was at the height of it. Okay, so here's the thing about Airheads that I absolutely love. It's like one of those classic SNL movies where like all these guest cameo appearances out of nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't have like all SNL, but what's funny is Ernie Hudson is in it, right?
Yes.
And what's funny is he's on with this movie, then he does The Cowboy Way, and then he does The Crow. So he plays cops for like 3 straight movies. Which is great, but you also see Michael McKean is in it. He kind of plays the slimy A&R guy. But it's a lot of fun. By the way, on the DVD special features for Airheads, there's a video for Lemmy and Motorhead with a song called Born to Raise Hell with Ice-T and Whitfield Crane. Do you know who Whitfield Crane is?
That name rings a bell, but I can't.
Lead singer of Ugly Kid Joe, which
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I enjoyed both these films. Thrift Store Theater, I'm keeping them.
One of the funniest scenes I remember in Airheads is at the end when they're in the prison, and Adam Sandler starts doing stuff, and Steve.
No. It's not Adam Sandler. It's Steve Buscemi. He's like grinding on his bass.
Right. Yeah.
And then Adam Sandler, who's the drummer, is like, dude, what are you doing? Do you know where you are?
And this was before Adam Sandler was Adam Sandler.
Yes. By the way, quick trivia. The whole front area where the radio station is, do you know what parking lot it shares it with in the movie?
Sure. What is it?
The Nakatomi Plaza building.
That is awesome.
It's that whole outside parking area is the outside area of the Nakatomi.
Yeah, no. No, Airheads definitely goes down as one of those cult classic or guilty pleasure films for me. So it might even be worthy of a CPT.
You know what? I would say yes. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. A quick hour and a half too. It's wonderful to watch.
Yep. Well, that's going to wrap up Thrift Store Theater, but we're not done yet because Kevin, it's time. Are you geared up?
I know someone that's ready. Baby Yoda, he's ready.
Hey, Baby Yoda is always ready because it's once again time for Mando Watch 2020. Now, we've got 2 episodes. We covered the first episode, the last Culture Clash. So we got 2 episodes to cover this week. But before we do that, as always, spoiler alerts coming big time because we're going to go in depth on these episodes because we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with episode 2, Kevin, the Passenger. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a good episode. I love seeing Peli back, played by Amy Sedaris. You get that great scene in the beginning of him on the speeder bike, and those hunters or fellow bounty hunters or whatever trip up him and his bike. You see Baby Yoda tumbling, and there's that struggle, and there's that weird little alien Jawa guy that you saw in Force Awakens with the weird little eyes, and he wants to like trade the backpack for Baby Yoda, and then Mando does the cool backpack jetpack thing and shoots him up in the air. But basically this was about the frog lady that we get introduced to, and Baby Yoda having a tough time not eating her eggs that need to be fertilized. That's why they can't, this is they strike up the whole deal about how her husband knows where the Mandalorians are. But the deal is that Peli strikes, you got to transport the frog lady, but you can't go by hyperspace because apparently hyperspace will damage her eggs or something, and then stuff happens. The Rebel X-Wings show up. Of course you get Trapper Wolf,
Little Dave Filoni cameo, but it's kind of like the 2 guys in Megaforce. Somebody asked me about this. It's like Dave can't be in every steal and be the star of every episode, just like those 2 guys in Megaforce couldn't be the heroes of every mission.
Yeah, I know, right? But it was all about the ice spider, and Baby Yoda not being able to keep his hands off this frog lady's eggs. And I just want to say real quick, I actually watched this again today through FaceTime with my daughter, Camille. We've been doing that to stay in touch, and it's been awesome. We watch stuff together, and she loves creatures in Star Wars, and she thoroughly loved this. I showed her the picture of the original Ralph McQuarrie art. That was a concept art for Empire Strikes Back of this ice spider. Never made it into the movie. They brought it back for this one. I really did enjoy it. I did not think it was a filler episode, by the way.
Okay, so let me. I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the ice spiders. I had fun with it. I'm not gonna call this a filler episode, but Kevin, here was my issue with this episode. We had this phenomenal opening first episode. This episode, I don't want to say it felt like a filler episode, but I would call this episode a palate cleanser episode. You know, after you've had a couple of big things happen, you kind of have that slow down episode where it kind of gives you a chance to catch your breath and it was too soon in the storyline to have in the season to have an episode like this.
I don't get it. I'm not sure what you mean. I understand what you're saying, but what do you mean too soon?
It just felt like I wanted more of the pace that we had in episode 1 to continue. This felt like it was just really pumping the brakes again. And I'm like, we have such a short season of this as it is. It just felt like this episode could have been just attached to the end of episode 1 and I would have been fine with it.
See, I disagree with you there. I think that, especially now that what you've seen in episode 3 and see the payoff with the frog lady, and also what you're forgetting is that there is character development of the child, Baby Yoda, in this as well. And you're also seeing, I love the fact that the ship is getting beat to hell, you know, and you're seeing character development right in front of your face with the Mandalorian, and you got to see that great scene back at Mos Eisley and some throwbacks there. So I disagree with you. I've heard other people kind of say whether it's filler or whatever, but I'm telling you right now, give me all the creatures. To me, this was like, let's throw another cool creature, another struggle with this, but also there's reference back to last episode with the pilots. I thought that was great. And you also got to throw in the pilot that was speaking. He's from the Canadian 501st as well. And so you got that thrown in there.
Now, again, I loved everything about the episode. It just was felt like the placement of the episode. Now, again, I'm going off of my reaction of seeing it the first time. And now, when you put it in context with what happens in episode 3, it makes a little more sense. But seeing it on the first time, I just felt like this could have easily been episode 4 or 5. We could have had a few more faster paced episodes, kind of have that episode that kind of slows down, let you catch your breath a little bit. And then you dive into...
Hold on. Okay. So now that you've seen 3, give me your, now I've seen it again, or now I see it in context. Don't give me your first impression. I assume you've seen it more than once, like I have, right?
No, when I put it in context, it makes sense. I come back to it's fine where it is, considering what happens in episode 3. But to me, it still feels like this is the kind of thing where we could have had him go to the planet, and the basis of this thing, the only tie-in is the frog lady, really. But this could have been easily an episode, kind of like where the prison episode was in season 1, where it fell around 5 or 6, where it felt like, okay, it's this episode before we get to like the part, all the telling of the season of the series.
Are you
finale.
saying it's kind of a standalone episode?
Yeah, it feels like more like a standalone episode.
Okay, well, that's fine with me personally. I mean, part of it is the journey getting to where he needs to go, you know. But it's also world building, it's character development because of what you see in the next episode and stuff. So I get what you're saying.
Again, I'm not saying I hated the episode. I'm just saying that would, if I'm critiquing it, that was my one critique. I mean, I love seeing the Ralph McCordy Ice Spiders. I got to do something though, Kevin, because it drives me nuts, because there are people out there who are all on the cancel Baby Yoda because he tried to commit genocide. And I'm like, go away, people. Just go away. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Did we get the same attention to when Anakin killed a bunch of younglings off screen?
Yeah, we didn't have the internet like we do now. But the other thing about this episode, directed by Peyton Reed of Ant-Man fame, so how appropriate he's doing an episode with a ton of ice spiders in it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, no, I mean, visually, this episode continued everything that's great about The Mandalorian. Come
on, let's get to the next episode. That's one we were willing to talk about.
Oh, what? Did stuff happen in the 3rd episode?
Yeah, come on. We talked about episode 2 too long. Let's go.
Okay. Episode 3, The Heiress, The Mandalorian braves Hive season, meets unexpected allies. Okay, first of all, those Mon Calamari, you never asked them to repair a ship.
By the way, Nathaniel says, Kyle, don't forget this is being made specifically for streaming. They're building a tapestry that is more than just episode. You said over the lifetime of the series, more people will see this in the middle of a binge, not as a standalone episode. That's a good point.
Yeah, but we don't binge The Mandalorian around here.
Oh, we do after it all comes out. We do.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
That's what he's referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So we arrive at the mystery planet where the frog lady is headed. We get to see her husband.
That was a sweet scene, wasn't it?
Do we really tune into The Mandalorian for sweetness?
Oh, Kyle, come on. Are you dead inside? That was a sweet scene when they went and they hugged each other, and the husband kind of like puts his hands on the frog lady face. That was sweet. Come on. Pounding my heart.
Yeah. Maybe I just don't like frogs that much.
You got kittens. Come on. You found the love again, Kat. Come on.
I love kittens. Maybe I'm just not a big frog fan.
Anyway, I thought that was a sweet scene. I liked it.
Yeah. But Kevin, what you said something about a particular race in this on the Fandom Show. Would you care to repeat that?
Okay. Are you talking about the corn?
Yes, we're talking about the corn.
Okay, so the corn are the squid face. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is cool because in this planet you get to see these aqua type creatures. You get to see the Mon Calamari, and you get to see the Quarren, which we saw famously oppose each other in the Clone Wars in some great episodes there. But it seems like the Quarren are basically the dicks of the Star Wars universe. They back the bad guys, and they were jerks in this one. They tricked the Mandalorian into thinking they were going to help him find other Mandalorian. And what do? They saw, oh, look, there's a sea creature that needs to eat. You might want to see this. Bring the child over, too. He'd love to see this. Nope. Child was bait.
Can we take a moment to mourn the possible loss of the child's chair?
We'll build another.
Yeah. But still.
Well, of course, I do like the sack that he has the child in, that knapsack thing or whatever. Kind of like the Indiana Jones like man purse thing,
Yeah, exactly. But what this leads to is the appearance of three quote unquote new Mandalorians that we. And it was about this time that I'm watching this and I'm going, okay, yeah. Every Clone Wars fan's head just exploded in about 18 different ways. And this has been teased for a while now, but Katie Starbuck herself started tweeting, "Is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet?"
Geez, spoiler.
Yes, Katie Sackhoff, who does the voice of Bo-Katan on the Clone Wars and in Rebels, is now Bo-Katan in real life, Kevin.
How cool is that?
That was just amazing. Not only that, we get amazing WWE wrestler Sasha Banks as a female Mandalorian by the name of Koska Reeves. For those of you who are wondering, in the credits, she went by her actual real name of Mercedes Vernado. We have Simon Cassadinas as Axe Woves, and get this. We find out that this is the way. Is not necessarily something all Mandalorians look real positive about.
It's not necessarily everyone's way in the Mandalorian society, which makes sense, Yeah. So first off, Katie Sackhoff looked great, kicked butt. How cool is it that voicing a character in animation and you actually get to play the live action version of that? That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we get someone from Clone Wars coming to live action, just like what we did in Rogue One with Saw Gerrera. So that was really cool. But this is awesome. But yeah, so this is very cool because they address the whole Mandalorian thing of like what we've been wondering is like, wait a minute, why are they not wanting to take off their helmets and show their faces when they were very gallantly doing that through the Clone Wars? And we find out after the Purge, in order to stay alive and to rebuild, a sect of Mandalorians decided to bring back an old custom by doing it this way, the Watch, I guess, probably based off the Death Watch. Maybe we don't know. We'll find out. that no, to hide their numbers and to not let people see who they are, they decide no one's taking your helmet off, and this is how we're going to raise younglings. And that's how they gain numbers. They find young kids that are, from the Clone Wars, like they did with Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and raise them this way. However, as we find out, not all Mandalorians are still like that. And, we get from Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan is that she plans to basically retake Mandalore or bring the government back to some sort of greatness, I guess,
Yeah.
Because of the Purge. I'm sorry, the Purge. Yeah.
And a lot of interesting things in Star Wars history come up in this. Obviously, they talk about the Purge, but they talk about how the planet of Mandalore is cursed, basically, at this point. The Empire did something to it. We don't know.
That's kind of up in air right now, I think, because this is what we've become to learn from Din Djarin's words. But and then she kind of like I think she says in so many words, it's not necessarily as bad as it may have sound like it is. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah. I kind of got like, you don't know all the details. Maybe you don't know all the details, or both sides know things that the other side doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm sure during the Purge, Mandalorian got decimated to a certain thing, but I'm getting the feeling that it's not as bad as it could have been, or the way that Din and his group of Mandalorians believe so. So, but I love the whole end scene where she says, look, I will help you, point you in the direction to finding the Jedi, with the child, but you got to help us out with this little job here.
That turns out to be not so little.
Taking down this Imperial transport, getting the weapons. She kind of changes the deal. No, now we're taking the ship. And I love the fact that we get Titus Welliver.
I'm a huge fan of Titus. He always plays a great bad guy.
Yeah. And he stars in his own TV series, Bosch. Just love this guy. I remember him from Sons of Anarchy.
Mm-hmm. A little Giancarlo Esposito making an appearance in this episode as well, which always makes me happy.
And then we know, because after watching Rebels, who had the Darksaber? Bo-Katan. Something happened during the Purge and the battle. She doesn't have it anymore, and she's searching, of course, for Giancarlo to get the Darksaber.
Okay, so before we get to the very end of this and the big thing we need to address, I got to give a shout out to Sam Witwer on Twitter. Have you seen his Twitter this week? Sam Witwer has started this last season of The Mandalorian saying, it's my Darksaber. You all have stolen it from me. And he has continued this running joke now.
Because he does the voice of Darth Maul.
Yeah. And he not only did the voice of Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels, he also did the voice of Darth Maul in Solo.
Yes.
So he has become.
But come on, let's be honest. He stole it from the Watch, right?
Yeah.
From Prez Villa.
Yeah.
Forgetting his name. The one that's voiced by Jon Favreau, basically.
Yeah. But just the fun he's having on Twitter on this. I really hope they find some way to work Sam Witwer into the Mandalorian before it's all said and done. But let's get to, of course, the big thing that exploded everybody's brains. We know there's been so many rumors of who's actually in this season and who's not. We have confirmation of Tamora. We have now confirmation of Katie. And we got confirmation because at the end of the episode, go to this forest planet and look for Ahsoka Tano, Kevin.
Yes.
It's now confirmed. We all felt it. And it could be as soon as this Friday. Oh, I know a lot. I know a certain.
No. I don't think so.
I know a certain Clone Wars person who will probably be up, just staying up all night till it actually starts popping up on Disney Plus to make sure he sees this as soon as possible. Mr. Matt Clifton.
Okay, so the next episode doesn't have a name yet, but it's directed by Carl Weathers. This is episode 4. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to be reunited with Gina Carano and Carl Weathers' character Greef Karga. But I think it's going to be one of those episodes where he's on his way, but he needs their help and something happens. But everyone is not everyone, but I think a lot of people are speculating that it's actually episode 5 that we get to see or meet or get teased of Ahsoka Tano, because Dave Filoni is not only helping to write that episode where it's normally Jon Favreau, but he is directing it.
That makes sense. It makes sense. And it makes sense that the Mandalorian would have to stop somewhere and actually get real replayers to a ship, so he's not flying around in the Star Wars version of Red Lobster.
Exactly. Question, by the way, a buddy of mine, Chuck, I'll give you a little shout out. He thought in this episode he was going to get a new ship because his got beat up in episode 3. That obviously didn't happen. Do you think, with Boba Fett being teased in the end of the first episode, Slave One is still around?
Possibly. It's hard to say. Real quick shout out to Tom Caldwell, who just joined our chat. Of course, one of the great hosts over at a Good Evening, a Alfred Hitchcock podcast here on the Fandom Podcast Network.
What is up, Tom? And by the way, Nathaniel thought it was funny that you rejected Devil's Rejects, by the way.
It's the only thing you do.
Yeah, so this is exciting, man. This show is so darn good. Thank you, Mandalorian. You are the Star Wars I've been waiting for.
Yes, you had the great meme. We talked about this too. Check it. Listen to the Fandom Show about this meme Kevin brought up on his social media. Kevin,
I shared it from somewhere else. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say Kevin is back in his happy Star Wars place, thanks to the Mandalorian.
I mean, this is uniting Star Wars fans, and there's many reasons why this show is uniting and is so much fun, because the people that are running it are paying very close to the source material of past, and as well as writing great stuff to bring these characters forward. But, they're paying tribute to what we know and what we love and the nostalgia. And the best part of it is that it's not this negative fan service thing. It's not.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars things real quick before we get out of here, Kevin, tomorrow on Disney Plus.
Hold on. We need to celebrate it some way. How come we didn't do anything? Are the guys doing something?
I don't know if the guys over at What a Piece of Junk are doing anything or not. But right. Disney Plus.
Hold on, chat. Do you know it's tomorrow? Do you know what tomorrow is? November 17th. Come on. What is it? What is November 17th? Come on.
It's a day B. Arthur comes out of the grave and sings, right?
It's the, let me tease a little bit. It is the anniversary of the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah, there we go. That's the only thing people care about anyway. We're talking Mandalorian, so. But no, it is the anniversary of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes, November 17th.
However, November 17th, this year in particular, Kevin, tomorrow on Disney Plus, the premiere of the Star Wars Holiday Special Lego Edition. Now, I know this isn't a true Lego rendition of the Star Wars Holiday Special, but the Lego stuff is always so much fun.
Well, they're doing their own version of their Holiday Special. I'm assuming Life Day is going to be mentioned. But I love Lego Star Wars for a couple of reasons, Kyle. First of all, it helped bring my daughter Camille into Star Wars, especially the video games. We loved playing the video games together. But the Lego Star Wars had fun, poking fun at Star Wars.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars is basically Star Wars parody without calling it parody. Let's be honest.
Well, but most of the Lego stuff is like that for the most part.
So I love the fact that, that they're letting Lego do their fun Lego-y stuff with Star Wars, but still kind of poking fun at Star Wars in a very funny way. And I love how they're going to bring like different characters from all the Star Wars movies together.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get home tomorrow and watch it. Excited for that. But
by the way, Tom calls it the greatest holiday special in the history of TV. I thought it was the greatest. Well, I think in Canada, I think the greatest holiday there is probably the release of the first Loverboy album.
It was either that or Strange Brew. or Handsome Brothers Appreciation Day.
Handsome Brother? What?
Hanson.
Hanson
Yeah. The
Canadian?
slapstick. Remember the movie Slapstick? The three brothers?
Never saw it.
Oh, well.
Are you talking about the pop group Hanson?
No. There was a comedy called Slapshot.
Okay, I never saw the movie. I don't know.
And it's got three brothers in it by the name that are the Hanson brothers, and they're all hockey goons.
Okay. The only Hanson brothers I know are the pop group from the 90s, the Bop guys.
Yeah, it's weird because I just watched a video where they redid Bop, but they had all of their kids with them doing it.
And we're old.
Yeah. Just like that, we're really old. But
anyway, Mandalorian is awesome. I will not be around. Obviously, we're going to be putting, I guess, Culture Clash on hold for a little while because I'm going to be gone for a little over a week there. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple weeks before the next Culture Clash.
We still got stuff coming out on the network, which is good.
Yeah, we got stuff coming out. We'll do at least one more Culture Clash before the holidays out because I really want to do something. Kevin knows what I'm going to drop in here real quick. We got a couple good friends of our network who are big on toys. And I really would like to do a Culture Clash that focuses on toys as we get closer to Christmas.
And we should let people know we have another live Couch Potato Theater that we're going to do. I think it's December 18th. Is that right, Kyle?
Yeah, December 18th. If you want to let the cat out of the bag, it's getting close enough. We're about a month away from it.
Yeah. Give people something people excited for. December 18th, right? Is on a Friday. We're going to be doing a live Couch Potato Theater celebrating the 1988 Christmas classic Scrooged with Bill Murray. My favorite Christmas film.
One of my all-time favorites. We might even put a little love in your heart by the end of the.
Oh, yes. Love that song. Love it. Love it. I might be watching there's this Hallmark channel that has Christmassy themed stuff. Might be watching that. So
yeah, I know you've downloaded the app.
But I do want to do something. I want to watch some Christmas films I have not seen in a very long time or have never seen. I want to do that. So,
yeah. Kevin, I do want to ask you something. Are you going to share with Camille my Thanksgiving tradition this year?
I don't think she'll get that. If you're talking about the WKRP holiday turkey thing, I do plan on watching that, but I don't think she'll.
A couple more years yet before she'll get that.
Yeah.
No, because that is one of my traditions. Every Thanksgiving morning when I get up, I watch the WKRP Turkeys Away episode.
Right. Yeah.
I swear to God, I thought turkeys could fly.
As I was going to say before you went to that tangent, I have not seen Christmas Vacation in years.
Really?
I need to revisit that and watch that. I also want to watch Family Man with Nicolas Cage. And there was another one that you'd mentioned that I want to watch, the Home for the Holidays, or what was it? The Great, I can't remember. It was one you mentioned last year, and it had the whole African-American cast.
Oh yeah. Sharon Leal is in it. This Christmas.
Yes. I think I have that on DVD that I got at a thrift store. So I think I'm going to try and give that a shot.
That's great money. Jen is calling you out for your sports card for not having ever seen Slapshot, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Paul Newman's in it.
Yeah. I know it's a classic. I just, I'm not a big hockey guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I followed the Kings for a while there in the late 80s and 90s. And then
I'm from Alaska. It's like next to Canada, it's one of the more mandatory things you have to do if you're from anywhere north of the border. So, but you know what? Since we won't do a Culture Clash before, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, wonderful people in the chat. Thank you for checking in, and everyone else that's listening. So yeah.
Yep. Everybody have a safe Thanksgiving. Just a reminder too, next week that the End Zone will be on hiatus we're just going to enjoy our Thanksgiving week. However, we will be putting out Couch Potato Theater Varsity Blues. So you still will get your football fix next
Yes, with
week.
guest Jen.
Yes. And her such enthusiasm for Varsity Blues.
Yes.
Yes. And our enthusiasm for whipped cream bikinis, but that's a whole other thing.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. Everybody, as always, as the prophet said, stay excellent to each other. And like we say around here, enjoy your fandom. Thanks, all you YouTube viewers. We're going to get out.